You guys are recording for an hour-long podcast. Who the hell needs to take an actual bathroom break?
You're looking at him. Or you're not, because he went and took one. Welcome to Time Sink, the weekly podcast to let you know what's worth sinking your time into. I'm your host, Sauce, and I'm joined this week by Mr. Hummer.
Who's he? Oh, that's me. Me.
You.
Every
you.
time. You get me every time. And Brad.
I don't have any funny jokes.
I'm gonna put that as that's gonna be the beginning of the episode. Every episode.
Yeah, I don't have any funny jokes. That's
All
good because I never do.
We got a great episode for you this week. This week, we're going to talk about The Social Dilemma, Filthy Rich, Hubie Halloween. It's not Hubie Halloween. I thought it was Hubie Halloween. It's Hubie Halloween.
But you thought wrong.
I thought wrong. Haunting of Bly Manor, Saturday Night Live, and Brad's got some debate topics for us this week. So stick around. We're going to get right into it. Mr. Hummer. See if you're going to throw me off again.
Mr. Hummer. That's Dr. Mr. Hummer to you.
Hey. Social Dilemma. It's Halloween season.
So, Mr. Hummer.
Yeah. I'm going to take you to school here because it's Halloween. It's scary.
Dr. Mr. Hummer.
It's super scary out there. And I know you're going to be talking about some scary movies, I guess, but this is the scariest of movies you could possibly watch this Halloween. It's called The Social Dilemma. It is a documentary on Netflix about the dangers or the dangerous impact that social networks have on our human psyche, or our actual how we interact with the world, how we perceive the world. And it has former executives from Facebook, from Twitter, from Pinterest. It has Sean Parker is making a guest appearance on this. It has some of the early investors of Facebook speaking out about the dangers of it. And it's basically kind of hitting at, when you look at all social media, how it's set up, what it's designed to do, which is make money. So, and it's to make money selling ads. And we've all known this for a while. I think if you're in tune with Facebook, that the product isn't Facebook, we're the product. Facebook is selling our data instantaneously to sell ads, basically in live real time as you're scrolling and keep you engaged, to keep you coming back to Facebook. And it's just, if you haven't been introduced to that concept before, or what Facebook's really doing, this video will make you want to delete Facebook from your phone. It'll make you want to delete your profile from the actual interwebs. It's going to make you like really sit there and think about what social networks do you actually want to be a part of, because they're all doing this, and it's a must watch. I don't want to ruin too much of it, getting down into the topics of what they cover, but in my mind, this is a straight 5. It makes too much sense not to watch it right now, especially with how polarized our world is. Like, there's a measurable impact of like when social media becomes mainstream, of when you see like rises in suicides between teens, between you see the more polarization of just people in general. If you listen to the way Democrats talk about Republicans, or Republicans talking about Democrats, it's like either one is basically the end of the world for both sides, that none can survive with the other there. And they get to kind of like why it is that way with social media, and how these companies have kind of designed it that way. And then at the same time are saying that they're okay, or they're able to take charge of the situation. And they make some pretty compelling points as to why that's not the case. It's scary. It's terrifying. It's the most terrifying movie I've seen so far this year.
Is it mainly just Facebook, or is it like many social media websites? Or
yeah, many social. It's not just picking on Facebook. It's picking on almost all social media in general, and just how their business, what their business model is. And it's like, when you think about it, when you put a computer in charge of a goal, it doesn't have any empathy. It doesn't have the ability to put a human factor into the algorithm. it's not going to do what's best for you. It's going to do what's best for the corporation. So they found a way to manipulate all this data to basically change the way we act in these little micro doses. So, if they want to steer us or steer our thinking into a certain direction, they don't do it all at once. It's not that big debate that you're going to watch tomorrow with the Biden and Trump. Oh, wait, that's not happening.
what debate?
But you're not.
This is coming out after that, though.
Yeah, it's coming out after that. But you're not going to get that oh, this is supposed to change your mind in a night. It's little micro nudges here and there to get you to where they want you to go. And the algorithm is just it's designed that as you're scrolling, it's putting things up there that you like. It knows what you like. It knows what you like more than you do. And it's designed to just keep you engaged in that process, to keep you on there longer so they can feed you more ads. And those ads are the goal. It's the corporation behind them. It's not just Facebook. It's their customer is Coca-Cola. Their customer is ESPN. Their customer is, whatever bourbon company you want to sit out there today.
Pappy.
It's whoever. Yeah. Well, I had some.
It's not a company. That's just a brand.
I had some Happy last week.
But I remember when Parks and Rec made fun of this pretty hard with Grizzle. They pretty much went really hard on it too. They talked about how they were developing an app that could read your mood. So if you were feeling sad, they could nudge you in the direction of your nearest coffee shop. if you're feeling happy, they could totally send you a coupon for a cup of coffee that you like.
It always ends up at the coffee shop.
Yeah, and then Leslie says, "Oh, so it's an ad for a coffee shop." He goes, "No doubt, we're developing with Starbucks."
Grizzle is tight, but we're also trying to be chill.
We don't like to say no at Grizzle, so instead we'll say, "Nah."
I mean, that's a perfect metaphor. They're actually just giving you the evidence behind that episode. They're giving you the hard science,
hard facts rather than a comedy show doing it.
And it's in the way they present it. It's almost kind of like if you're watching The Big Short and you see Margaret Robbie sitting in a tub and explaining these complex financial. Hey, we mentioned her again, guys.
This podcast is brought to you by Margot Robbie. Robbie.
Well, how she's explaining those complex concepts simply, they do that in this documentary. They're able to do a very good job of explaining how these concepts work. And they also, at the same time, it's one of those documentaries that you remember seeing back in, I don't want to say back in the day, but on the History Channel where they would have actors acting, dramatizing the history.
Dramatization.
They actually do that in this documentary. They take use of that. They do a pretty good job. Like I said, it's a 5. It's scary. You should watch it. You should watch it immediately because if you have kids too, it's also could give you a guide on a little bit, maybe some parenting tips and how to maybe introduce your kids to the world of social media or delaying their foray into social media. I'd say watch it. It's good.
But keep Facebook so you can watch this on Facebook.
Yeah, so you can watch this on Facebook.
My question is, do you think when Justin Timberlake and the guy who played Lex Luthor invented Facebook, they thought it would go this far?
There's people who say they didn't, to be honest. There's a guy in the video who was...
It started as a hot or not, didn't it?
Well, it started like that, but the guy that they brought on who they have the guy in the documentary who was the head of monetization for Facebook. They brought him in.
Was he a Winklevoss?
Specifically to monetize Facebook, and he's talking about it. And they literally was here's how we can make money off this. And it's just a never ending machine and it gets better as it goes. But I'm going to tell you the whole documentary here soon. So just watch it.
Go ahead, Brad.
That's the thing. We all sort of know, but we're all so attached that it's whatever.
I think but then you don't really once you the documentary puts so many other things into light that oh yeah, we know they track us. Well, how much are they tracking us? How much do they really know? To the fact that they honestly know us or have an idea of who we are more than we know ourselves. It's
I don't think that our phones and Facebook is tracking us as much as like flu vaccines and 5G is tracking us. You
An
know?
alien, an
And that-
alien, and aliens.
Yeah, and aliens.
Yeah, it's-
Pedophile aliens.
Pedophile
it's
aliens.
it's
They out
definitely
here,
Bill
they out
Gates pedophile inducing vaccines. You know, if you take his vaccine, it'll microchip you and then turn you into a pedophile at the flip of the switch.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah,
And we'll all be Jeffrey Epstein before we know it.
But Facebook is cool.
but
But
we'll kill
Facebook-
ourselves
no.
first before we get caught. Well, after we get caught.
Well,
we'll
you
definitely
seem
be
to know a
murdered.
little bit too much about this, Hummer. No, but I hate
All right,
Facebook.
okay, go get, we're gonna go get him. We're gonna get him.
I wouldn't use it if it wasn't for my family. Like I'm just systematically deleting people off of Facebook that I don't want. Like I have a small group of people that I actually need to talk to
Hey,
in real life.
I tried to search for you the other.
Yeah, what I meant to say was I use Brad's Facebook.
Well,
Yeah, my Facebook's a big old slut. Anyone can use it.
Just like
All right.
Brad.
Just
well, that's
like
enough
me.
with the social dilemma. The other TV show I dove into this week is called Filthy Rich. If anybody here was fans of Sex in the City, I was not one of them, but my wife, she's a huge fan.
I
she
like
was-
Matthew Broderick, but he's
she-
not in the show. He's
she
just
got
married
she,
to the
well, my
star.
wife like got us into it where she wanted to start watching it because the lead character Kim Cattrall, she played Samantha in Sex in the City.
I'm Samantha.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
heard
she
Brad's
was-
a Samantha.
Oh,
Totally.
I'm totally Samantha.
Basically, the premise of the show centers around a billionaire family who owns a Christian TV network, and like they put on this facade of being this like great, wonderful, perfect family. But
The
then
Trump
husband,
family?
Oh yeah, the husband literally leaves on a private jet, and on the private jet they see him with two basically prostitutes, and all of a sudden the plane engine catches fire and the plane crashes and he dies, and the family.
What, the prostitutes didn't save him? Bad prostitutes.
So then it goes into like they dive in basically that the pilot of the show breaks out at the very beginning that so he's died, and they go and start delivering summons to 3 individuals who are presumably his bastardized children. And so now they're secret, no one's known about them. They show up and the family's trying to hide them, but it's going through. So far it's weird. I just don't know where it's going. It's a normal show that you can't binge, so it comes out like once a week. They have 3 episodes. I think they're on the verge of possibly canceling it because they put a week in between, an extra week in between the 3rd episode, or the 3rd and 4th episode here. But honestly, I don't think it's worth your time.
Ooh.
It's one that I think you can skip. I find myself like with this 4th episode, not even like excited for it to come out. I could honestly skip it until Julia, she can finish this one on her own. And I don't even know.
Not the first time she's heard that.
You don't talk about my wife that way.
I mean, come on, it was there.
It was there. He
The
had to-
Michael Scott in me just like
He had to take it.
attacked that.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah,
talked about
I
it.
give it a 1. It's not worth your time.
That's it. Just
That's not high praise.
I figured there was one. If it's out there, it's new. They're advertising the hell out of it on Hulu on their front and center page, and maybe that's just my algorithm. Maybe it's not everybody else's algorithm, but I've noticed it being advertised pretty heavily on there, and Fox is promoting it. So if you're falling prey because you love Samantha, don't do it. Don't do it. Even though there are some pretty good-looking actresses in it, and one of them plays basically a porn star, like
Samantha?
site streaming. Yes, dirty.
Oh,
Samantha.
an OnlyFans model
Yes,
is what Brad told me they're called.
Yes, that's what I told him. I told him all about OnlyFans.
OnlyFans.
My 16 accounts.
OnlyFans is bullshit. They
Why?
They want you to use a credit card if you want to sign up.
They always tell me how much they like me, but they don't respond.
And then Facebook tracks it that I've been there.
And then they'll keep advertising more.
I always wonder why these weird subreddits pop up in my suggestions on Reddit.
So this is a Hulu show. Does Hulu have any good shows that are like their exclusive show?
I liked Future Man.
That's the only one I could think of.
Handmaidens.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Handmaid's Tale is pretty awesome.
Oh,
I don't
yeah,
think this
that's
one's
probably their
Hulu
big
exclusive though. I think Filthy Rich is a Fox show.
Oh, you know what? Hulu popped up on here, and yeah, my bad. I misread this. It is a Fox show.
But yeah, Hulu's.
Has Fox ever had a good show?
Yes.
The Sean Hannity.
Yeah, I'm just joking. Yeah, obviously Sean Hannity, Tucker Carlson,
Bill O'Reilly.
all stand-up members of society.
Tommy Lauren.
Oh God, don't. Anyway,
I'm trying to rile you up. Come on, take the bait. God, she's so hot. Take the bait. Take the bait.
Nope, not getting me this time.
What she said.
That was weak. All right. So yeah. So people should not waste their time, and they should not watch Filthy Rich. It sounds like.
Yeah. Don't waste your time. Move on to something new.
All right. So for me this week, I wanted to check out
the devil.
Damn it! That's what I should have said. So this week, I wanted to make sure that I got in some of the spookies for Spooktober. Yeah, it's October, right? For Spooktober. So get some of those creepy Halloween movies in. So I hit both ends of the spectrum. I got a comedy. So the first one, I watched Hubie Halloween. So Adam Sandler signed a deal with Netflix to make a ton of movies with them, like exclusively.
Oh, great. So a ton of shitty movies coming on.
Pretty much.
$400 million, though.
They make bank. He makes bank. So like it's win-win for them.
Are they all shot in Hawaii?
At least one is.
Which one?
The Do-Over, right? That one?
I don't remember. I've watched them all. I really liked the murder mystery one. That one was good.
Yeah, 50 First Dates I thought was
That wasn't a Netflix movie though.
Oh, I was just thinking just in general Adam Sandler movies. He's been going for a nice tropical destination.
Yeah, he likes to go on location.
So Hubie Halloween is about Hubert Dubois. So that's why it's Hubie Halloween. This is another Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison Waterboy type movie. You've probably seen that.
Never seen them.
What?
Just kidding.
Oh
I'm not like
God.
you, and I don't see awesome movies. Top Gun.
I'll maybe someday. Maybe if somebody talks me into it. But so imagine watching Waterboy, and you're like, all right. Back in the day, I don't know. I loved it. I thought it was hilarious. But it's Adam Sandler playing like kind of like a special kid, right? Like he's slow. He lives with his mama. But it worked because he already got away with like that young slacker Billy Madison type
Southerner character from SNL
Mhm.
and from his old CDs and stuff. He's been doing that character for a long time.
So it's weird now that he's, an adult, older man playing that like character. He could be talking like this the whole movie, living with his mom, like slow. It's basically he's playing like not to be offensive in any way, but like he's playing like an autistic character or someone who's on the spectrum.
That's offensive.
Well, it kind of is like
PC principle here.
Is it because it's a spectrum now, so he could be anywhere on it? So, like, is it really offensive? It's not like he has people calling him, retarded or anything.
I just don't think Sauce could have won right there. I mean, it was offensive no matter what.
Yeah. So go into the movie thinking that then, because I mean, it's not really
I'm gonna
believable.
watch it now and just go in. I'm just gonna go in with the thought that yes, Sauce is offensive.
It's not believable. He's playing this like weird character who's like clearly has no social skills, no like social interaction skills, lives at home with his mom, and is like a man child. It's
But
basically
a smoking hottie is super into it.
yes.
With a double V name, always.
So it was hard for me to get over that. Like, is he playing an autistic person or not? Obviously, I don't think that was his intention, but it just plays weird now. But anyway,
Culture, yeah.
not why. That's not why. It's just
Part of it.
Like, what is he doing? Like, it's so unbelievable, you know? Like that's the only way it makes sense. But as far as the movie goes, he lives in Salem, the town of Salem, Massachusetts, and
Not Salem, Oregon.
Yeah,
big difference there.
totally. And he loves Halloween, and he wants to his only goal in life is to keep Halloween safe for everybody. But then some spookies start happening, and he has to figure out what's going on. There's a lot of callbacks to a lot of Adam Sandler movies. Like one of the kids that bullies him is an O'Doyle. So sorry if I'm spoiling that, but
the O'Doyles pop up a lot throughout his movies.
Do they?
Yeah, they're in a bunch of stuff.
What else are the O'Doyles in?
Don't ask, because I don't have instances right off the top of my head. But I assume the O'Doyle is based off of somebody that bullied him when he was young.
Yeah, probably. But they cast as the normal Sandler cast. You're gonna get Kevin James.
Steve Buscemi.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to think of. I was gonna say the weird looking guy.
I know Ben Stiller pops up in a Halloween costume of his character from Happy Gilmore.
I think he plays the same character from Happy Gilmore.
Well, there was debate about it, whether he's the same character, because Happy Gilmore doesn't take place in Salem, Massachusetts.
Yeah, but people move, so it could be the same character.
It is probably in Massachusetts though, because he's wearing a Boston Bruins jersey, so he's from Boston still-ish.
Well, anyway, the cast is actually surprised. Like a bunch more people keep popping up. Like some of them are spoilers, so I'm not going to mention them. But there's some good cameos in the movie. There's a couple decent laughs, but not that many, which I was kind of surprised because like other people were saying like, oh, this is going to be the Halloween movie we watch every Halloween. But
Adam Sandler, it was kind of pitched as.
Yeah, it's
going back to it being good stuff.
For sure, a movie I'm never going to watch again. Like, probably never watch this movie again. Not that it was bad, but
I have a lot of trouble personally watching Adam Sandler movies these days because they too tend to be very disappointing. And I grew up on Adam Sandler, and he's like a father figure of comedy to me. So it's now at this point where it's like that relationship you have with an absent father that you don't want to be disappointed by it anymore. so you just ignore it. And so you don't have to feel the disappointment. You're like, he's just out here doing his thing. I'm out here doing mine. As I say that, I'm afraid that was a little real for me. So, for my own relationship with my father, but whatever.
We get real here. We cut deep.
This is hard to find, the O'Doyle. The only ones I'm finding so far is in Click. His neighbors are the O'Doyles.
Yeah, Click was the other one I was thinking of.
And then it says Billy Madison, but apparently I guess in almost all the movies there's a redhead in there that happens to be a bully. So I'm assuming in Big Daddy, it's probably one of the kids at the school or something.
Yeah, I didn't notice that. I mean, I recognized the O'Doyle from the Billy Madison, but that was it. So Adam Sandler in the movie is typical Adam Sandler, but still, again, it's hard for me to buy because he's playing that type of character now. I could back then. Now it's hard to stomach. Especially
you're 60 or 55 years old, dude. Grow up.
And it's not that don't grow up. I'm never gonna grow up.
Your father's company. Run it like a man.
It's just weird. I don't know. The only way you can know what I'm talking about really is to just watch it. But the part that makes it harder and the suspension of disbelief is just not there is because Julie Bowen is back from Happy Gilmore, was his love interest in Happy Gilmore. She goes on, crushes it in Modern Family, which is one of the best sitcoms in the last 10 years. Somehow she got a bunch of plastic surgery and is hotter now than she was back then.
I mean, somehow you just explained the somehow.
I know, but she's so much older. How old is she when Billy Madison came out? So her being interested in this character as a romantic character, so unbelievable that it makes it even harder to watch in the movie.
So are all of Adam Sandler's love interests. Like, you don't quite understand why they are into him. And they all have double V names. Vicky
Okay.
Valancourt, Veronica Vaughn.
Like there's a part in the movie where he's like dressed up as a ghost, but the ghost, the white sheet he's wearing has his pee stains on it because he pees the bed still. And it's like,
Right.
come on, like you had to have known filming that is like not funny. Like
Yeah.
that was so cringy.
Call back to the water
You
boy.
aren't
Though.
kidding, man. She's like way hotter than what she used to be.
I know, right?
Like, wow. Margaret Robbie, move over.
Wow.
Just kidding. She didn't. Don't listen to me.
Every other actor in this movie is great though. Like hilarious. Like crushes their part. Maya Rudolph is in it, crushes it. Tim Meadows comes in, crushes it. I want to tell you, Keenan is in it. Other people come in, but I don't want to tell you because I don't want to ruin their cameos. The story is
George Lucas,
it's no. This
Kathleen Kennedy.
the story is pretty dumb, but so are all of the Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore stories. So it's kind of along those lines.
The other thing I've always felt with watching Adam Sandler movies over the last 10 years or so is like everyone around him tends to put in really good performances, and then he seems very lazy, like as an actor.
He's great in the Hotel Transylvania movies.
I don't have children, so I've never seen those.
Wait, can you guys think of another Halloween comedy?
Hocus Pocus.
Okay, damn it.
Okay. So it definitely does not dethrone Hocus Pocus.
And Hocus Pocus was a bomb when it came out. Like that
Yeah.
movie bombed.
See, I feel like with Halloween and Christmas, I guess for this matter too, like it's really
Leprechaun Free Back
hard
in the
for a
Hood?
new movie to break into that space to become a classic, if you would. Like you have your rotations of these holiday movies that you look forward to, like
The
Hocus
Christmas
Pocus.
Prince.
Yeah, like Hocus Pocus. And now my question to you is Nightmare Before Christmas a Halloween movie for you or a Christmas movie?
Oh, I think it's a Christmas movie.
I think I don't like people that are obsessed with that movie. That's
I'm
the
not
only
saying
way
I'm
I think about it.
obsessed with it. Well, maybe I'm obsessed with it.
He likes Hans Zimmer more than Danny Elfman. That's
Exactly.
really what
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually trying to
That's
think.
true,
You got me
though.
thinking, like,
Those are the
what would
composers.
be other Halloween
I
movies?
know.
Like maybe other Scooby-Doo movies?
Dude, this live action Scooby Doo movie, the first one was awesome. Don't get it twisted. That movie was great.
That's what I'm saying. But like those, like you could, not that they're like set around Halloween time, but like, monsters, goblins, Scooby-Doo's always had kind of this like Halloween vibe to it. Even in Kings Island,
Yeah,
you go on the
I
Scooby-Doo
I
ride and
still
you rode in
I
coffins.
still think that like to be a holiday movie, you have to deal with the holiday in some regard.
Mhm.
Okay. Fair
It's
enough.
either the backdrop or the premise of the movie.
That's the only reason we can even make the argument that Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
Like if maybe someone named Ernest is saving said holiday.
Yeah, Ernest Scared Stupid, bro. There's the best.
All right, so if you Google top
And
Halloween
that movie
movies,
scared that troll scared the hell out of me when I was a kid.
it goes-
Halloween comedies though.
Well, I'll hear me out, and you can pick which ones are comedies. Hocus Pocus is listed on number 1. You have Beetlejuice, The Addams Family from 1991. You have Casper.
That's
Does
a
that
Halloween
take place
movie?
during Halloween?
I think it is.
Yeah,
It's always about ghosts, and it's always a backdrop of
I
Halloween.
think they do
There's
have
a
a Halloween.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'll allow it. Casper's great.
I'm not going to give any of the other ones if we're going off that because the Ghostbusters on this list. Trick or Treat's definitely not.
What?
A
There's a
comedy.
movie called Trick or Treat. Halloween movie. What else do you trick or treat?
Corpse of the Bride, Hotel Transylvania.
Those aren't Halloween movies. Hotel
The Haunted
Transylvania is
Mansion from
an
Disney.
excellent kids movie though.
I'm
You
just
know
going
what?
off what this list here is.
Is the Corpse Bride a Halloween movie? I mean, I don't think so.
Frankenweenie.
Frankenweenie, I think is. I think that takes place during Halloween, but I
What
don't
about
think it's
E.T.?
is that a Halloween?
E.T. is a Halloween movie.
They do have Halloween. in ET.
I love what this is turning into. Is it a Halloween movie or not?
Yes. So Hubie Halloween, I would not put it on that list. It's I don't know. Maybe if you were really high, you would like it and enjoy it, but the jokes are so like poorly written.
Really high, you say?
So I'm gonna give it a 2. You're good either way. Watch it, don't watch it, it doesn't matter. So for the actual spooky side of things, have you guys seen The Haunting of Hill House?
I don't watch ooky spooky movies. I don't care for them.
I
Okay.
love them, but my wife isn't a big fan, and I don't like watching them alone because I'm a big scaredy cat. So
Even the way you said that made us know that I don't like watching them alone. That's nothing.
who does? You have to be psycho to want to watch one of these movies alone.
Okay, so I used to think like Brad, like scary stuff was I always thought it was stupid, but if it has a really interesting hook, or I mean, obviously, if it's just got a really good narrative, if
Like The Exorcist.
good cinematography, good acting, I'll check it out. Yeah, like The
I
Exorcist.
like psychological thrillers,
It
but
is.
I don't like horror.
It's not. It's okay. So when I say horror, are you thinking of like Jason, like stabbing teens? Like, yeah,
That those are slasher films. That's a whole
Yeah, that's
other
a slasher.
genre of horror movie. That is
Yeah.
a slasher film.
it's not that.
You
Talking
you
like
can't
Paranormal
include that
Activity.
into
I'm talking Annabelle.
Yeah.
I'm talking The Exorcism of Emily Rose.
Okay. So this is more in lines with that. It's a haunted house story. So
Amityville Horror.
I'm talking about the Haunting of Bly Manor, but you can't talk about it without talking about the Haunting of Hill House first. The Haunting of Hill House is one of the best scary, spooky TV shows, or even because if you're comparing TV to movie, it's one of the best like visual storytelling things around right now. The Haunting of Hill House is so good. All the actors are amazing. The story's great. It's expertly made. One of the episodes has like one of the longest shot in one take scenes in TV, and it's done expertly. They're weaving in 2019 to 1980 all in one camera take. It's done so well and it looks so cool. The story's so good that I highly recommend it.
Better than the ones from Daredevil, because that's kind of like my pinnacle of long form one shots.
Yes, those are actiony. This isn't action based. It's more like dramatic, like tension building. So it's good, but it's a different emotion.
Okay.
Why it got so popular is because they put like these hidden ghosts in like
Ghosts?
yeah, my bad. Ghosts in the background of like every scene. And if you watch it, you don't notice them. But if you go back and like Google, like, all right, well, what ghosts did I miss this episode? They're so blatantly obvious. It's like Stanley sitting right here on my screen. Like, how did I miss it?
Stanley? Stanley? That's Stanley? Oh God. What? No.
So the acting is amazing. And the story's really, really good in the way that they do the episodes. Every episode takes place from a different sibling of this family that's being haunted. And the whole story is contained, and you get the conclusion within I can't remember if it's 8 or 10 episodes, the first season. Season 2, it's a completely different story. Most different actors. Some of the actors from the first season come over to the second season, but they're playing different characters. So the whole show is an anthology series. So the next one, so definitely if you haven't seen Haunting a Hill House and you're looking for something spooky to watch, or Hummer, it's worth 100% watching by yourself. It is so good. After the first episode, if you're not hooked, I'd be very shocked. Definitely watch the Haunting a Hill House.
Nightmares?
Yes, you're gonna have nightmares. Just get over it.
Just turn all the lights on, snuggle with your cat.
It depends on what scares you. Like, do poltergeists scare you? Does, I don't know, aging scare you? Or do it's a ghost based scaring. It's not like jump scares. It's like something creepy with these dead people and these ghosts are going on. So if you're not scared of ghosts,
What kind of scary movies I remember like the scariest movie I saw as like a kid, the ones that freaked me out were one, The Exorcist, and two, the Freddy Krueger films. I watched those when I was entirely way too young. Like I was afraid to go to sleep. It made my parents miserable. Like, well, it's your fault. You showed me that movie.
I don't think they're scary. I think they're fascinating. I don't think you're gonna like my wife gets scared at everything and she's scared by it, but I don't think you're gonna experience that. But let me know. Maybe I'm wrong. But the second season, I just finished it. So the Haunting of Bly Manor. The first season was amazing, so it had a lot to live up to. The second season, they had found another great cast of actors. Some of the actors that didn't get to do a lot the first season really shined this season. There's a lot of complaints on the reviews because, and this is kind of a spoiler. I'm not gonna spoil it. I'm gonna try and dance around it. But
You're not a good dancer, though.
Yeah, you're right. But I am a good swordsman. Like water dancing, according to Serial Pharrell. Anyway,
I digress.
I digest. I don't think people like it as much because it wasn't as scary. And at the end, it kind of turns into something very, I'll just say sweet. I would even go on to say beautiful. It has a very bittersweet and beautiful ending.
Turns out to be a prequel for The Good Place.
Hey. So I think people wanted more like getting creeped out like that, and I don't think people were as happy because there was everybody got a conclusion to their story, and maybe it just wasn't the conclusion that they wanted. But I still think it's really good.
Odyssey, I get it.
Some people just can't handle happy ending. Like I feel like people who probably love the horror genre don't want to see anyone get out. You know, everybody's supposed to be royally effed.
Actually, I like to see them get out. You know, I like to see them survive. Like, I'm
long as
definitely the one
Ellen
screaming, "Why are you running into the chainsaw room?" I'm definitely the one screaming, like, "Just cut your leg off and get out of the room" during Saw. Like, I'm definitely.
That was the first thought you had. The first thought you had when you watched Saw was, no, just cut that leg off.
Yeah, just get out of the room. Go.
Look,
they make prosthetics.
To get that off.
They make prosthetic legs nowadays. You'll be good.
Get that leg off.
Dude, worst thing that happens, you get to walk around those little bouncy legs. Okay, you're alive.
I mean,
I don't think you saw your own leg off. I don't think you can do it.
I would be cool with having one of those bouncy legs. Those things look sweet.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not debating that it'd be a very challenging experience at least to cut your own leg off, but you know.
I think I just sit there for a long time, personally.
I've just been waiting for the day where he gets to cut his leg off.
No, I'm not.
He walks down dark alleys on Halloween night, hoping somebody's gonna abduct him and put him into like different puzzles he's got to break out of.
Guys, I built this room. It's upstairs in my attic. You guys
Listen, I want you to lock me in, but don't ask me why.
I'm a sucker for the Saw movies. I really am.
I remember having nightmares because I was pretty young when the first Blade movie came out with Wesley Snipes. I was scared by some of them vamps.
I remember I got scared by I can't remember what the movie is. I think it's The Thing, but it's I just remember this part in the kid. They're in it's like an alien or a monster, and they're in like a wintry area, like facility in the snow, and they kill it finally, but it lays an egg. I don't know. It's like an alien movie or The Thing movie. That I've been scared at when I was a little kid. I was scared of aliens so bad.
Godzilla, the 1999 version with Matthew Broderick.
That was multiple eggs and multiple Godzillas and Godzukis.
What was awesome about that Godzilla movie was the fact that Matthew Broderick had just finished up basically doing the Inspector Gadget movies. And so I'm just sitting there thinking like, oh my God, it's Inspector Gadget playing with worms.
I like that Hank Azaria survived getting stepped on by Godzilla.
Did he? I don't remember that.
Yeah, he's got his camera and he's like, whoa, and like he was in the perfect place when the didn't get him.
So yeah, Bly Manor. If you enjoyed Hill House, you might not enjoy Bly Manor just because of the path it takes, but I thought it was fantastic. It was another fantastic form of media to consume. So I will also give it a 5 out of 5 for the Spooktober spooky Halloween season. But for sure, watch Hill House first. So
God,
Brad,
you're giving me two things to do. God.
yeah. No, okay. So, no, because Hubie Halloween, I gave. Did I rate it?
You just told me to watch
No,
the
you
Hill
told him
House.
to watch two things: Hill House and Bly Manor.
Yeah, well, that's like one thing, though.
It's one big thing.
Yeah,
It's collective. It's together.
I
things
only
can
have
be
2
two
weeks before
things.
Halloween, dude. The day Halloween's over, all right. This year, it's Christmas time. I'm skipping Thanksgiving
Oh,
this year. I'm
skipping
going straight to
Thanksgiving.
Christmas. We're putting Christmas stuff up. I'm like, you know what? It's 2020. Anything goes.
We
No
need
rules.
this. We need this.
We need this. Christmas. Here we go.
This is the
Skipping
fight
Thanksgiving.
Hummer has been fighting for years. For Christmas to come early and to cut his own leg off.
This Christmas.
has definitely come early. And on that note, it's
All right.
time.
Brad, what do you got for us this week?
So I figured this week we are 2 episodes into the new season of Saturday Night Live. So I figured it was a good time as any to talk about the current state of a show that's been running since the 70s. Do you guys still watch Saturday Night Live?
Yes.
I basically watch anything that goes viral. I'll try to watch a lot of the monologues because like you're talking about the state of Saturday Night Live. If I'm not mistaken, Bill Burr mentioned that was the first time he had ever been on Saturday Night Live.
First time, yeah, totally.
How is that possible?
Bill Burr is not a type A celebrity. Most of the hosts that come on are either A, reoccurring people that have done it before and done really well, B, somebody that's promoting a big time movie release, or now C, former castmates. That tends to be the only type of host you see. For someone like Bill Burr to sneak in, like I really still think he snuck in. You know,
I think you're right because it sounded like all the rhetoric from it is that most of the time I've seen those monologues are somewhat scripted, if not entirely scripted, depending on who's giving it. And he came up there and said, "Man, I've been doing stand up for a long time," and he just started ripping right into a stand up comedy act.
You'll notice when they get a stand up comedian, they'll do their stand up. Chris Rock in the first episode very much did a stand up bit.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see like more musicians or athletes do a very scripted monologue that heavily relies on cast members or other things,
or a song which is way overdone.
Songs are really popular as well. I mean, sometimes they're done well though. It really depends. That always depends on the host, 100%. But I mean, if they get John Mulaney's going to do stand up,
Kills it.
and when Andy Samberg came back to host, I thought his bit was great where he talked about how he didn't do enough impressions on Saturday Night Live, so he just rattled off like 80 really bad impressions in order to be the impression master of Saturday Night Live. It's great. And we get a lot of reoccurring hosts these days, a lot more people entering the 5-timers club and stuff like that. But I mean, I think there's a lot more to talk about with than the host issue of Saturday Night Live, because I don't really think the host issue is an issue. You don't see a lot of.
No, it's not an issue. I was just pointing that out. That I definitely that's something I go.
If you want to watch, if you want to talk about Bill Burr specifically, I mean, the show is in pretty hot water over his monologue.
I loved it.
I don't get why.
Because you're not offended by it. He didn't offend you.
He offended the people who call people who get offended snowflakes.
Well, so I mean, I agree.
So did those people stop being snowflakes?
With what he said, because this is what stand-up comedians do. They shine a light on something and make fun of it, and it's not always comfortable for everyone. But if you were a member of the homosexual community or a minority, there are places you definitely could say someone could take offense. It's just then the argument becomes, should you? Because he's a comedian, and he's making comedy. Like, should you be offended? Like, Dave Chappelle says a lot of very offensive things, but should you be offended by it?
Bill Burr
He's
talking about
he's a comedian.
how rich white women took back the.
How they
Yeah,
stole
that was genius.
it was great. And what's funny is if you're a white woman, it's like you getting offended by that is like proving his point, you know?
Right.
So, like, but again, this is what I'm saying. It's a comedian. This is comedy. Like, there's a really hard line to draw about being offensive. And I thought he skated it pretty well. But I mean, the point that white women will take offenses to is he called them his bitches. Like, that was the one that they were like, up, triggered. You said we were your bitch.
I think they were upset by what he was saying. They just needed something to latch onto.
Yeah. So, like, I mean, I think if you were offended, you're like well within your rights to be offended. But at the same time, it's like,
I don't care if you wear a mask.
Chill.
I don't care if you wear a mask.
Like, he
kill your
talks about,
family.
he talks about the fact that he's from a different generation and he's from an area of Boston where, like, he's ignorant to that stuff. It's not like racism out of hatred or homophobia out of hatred. It's out of ignorance. And that's the comedy of it. Like,
Which isn't much better. Just
I'm not saying it's better or worse. It's just a thing. This is what comedians are doing. They point out stuff and they make jokes. Like, calm down. That's all I can say, guys, about it. Like, if you're offended, fine, be offended. But like,
He just
cool.
like the way he does it. He didn't pull punches on everybody was fair game.
Sure.
Like, you're all into this. You're all in. Like, we're all stupid. Like, I'm gonna make fun of anybody and everybody who deserves to be made fun of. I don't care what side of the fence you're on. Like, that's great. Like, it is.
Comedians are typically centrists, you know. So like, you're gonna make fun of.
There's both sides.
Of course, but like I think that comedians tend to be very like logical and then also skeptic thinkers. So,
I wouldn't say like Patton Oswalt is a centrist.
Well, that's fair, but he's also a NAMBLA supporter. So like, what do you want to do about it?
What, really?
Yeah.
What's that all about? I don't know anything about that.
What Patton Oswalt openly supports NAMBLA. That's all. That's what it's about. There's not much more to say about it. Like,
NAMBLA's that's actually a really terrible organization. I can't even make a joke about it.
Yeah, no, that's a terrible.
That's the point.
For anybody who doesn't know what NAMBLA is, it's the National Association for Man Boy Lovers.
They're an organization that wants to normalize having sex with young boys.
No, not normalize sex with young boys, relationship with young boys.
Sure, whatever. Either way, it's wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong. That's all it is. Like, anyways. But back to Saturday Night Live. This year was a really interesting year because 7 years ago or so is when a lot of this cast that's currently been on Saturday Night Live is when they joined. So they're all past their 7-year now. So this is when a lot of them should be leaving the show. You sign your 7-year contract with Saturday Night Live. Most of the time, they don't keep you afterwards. Like most actors are done by year 7. I think that the COVID summer kind of is one of the reasons everyone decided to stay, because they got their end of last season ruined, and not all of them are doing big projects. A.D. Bryant has a Hulu show and has another TV show, I think, so she's doing some stuff. Cecily Strong I've seen in a couple things, but like she's not really doing a whole lot. Kate McKinnon's probably the biggest name right now on Saturday Night Live. And she's done some A-list projects, but not all of them have a lot of success.
I don't think she's gonna make it.
That's fair. That's a fair thought. I'm not sure she could carry something on her own, but I thought the same of she's in the new Wonder Woman movie. She's the villain.
Kristen Wiig.
Yeah, I didn't necessarily think Kristen Wiig was gonna make it, but she keeps chugging along.
We'll find out. We'll see how Wonder Woman is.
I mean, I think with Kate McKinnon, you're just going to have to find the absolute right part for her. Mm-hmm. And because so far, like, you've seen her in Ghostbusters playing like the really like socially awkward scientist, and then you've seen her
in that Mila Kunis spy movie too.
You've seen that, and then you've seen her in Yesterday playing like the a really weird, like dark sense of humor on the music industry executive. So like you're gonna have to find a really particular part probably for her to be the lead in.
She's very talented. She's very talented.
She's very talented, and I think there's going to be roles for it. It's just about finding.
I thought Bill Hader leaving was a mistake, but look how great that's been. Like Bill Hader has awesome projects he's working on, and I love Bill Hader. But I thought him leaving Saturday Night Live was a huge mistake.
So what's your question about Saturday Night Live, or what was your?
I just wanted to talk about what you guys think about it these days. We haven't really seen much of the new cast members other than Bowen Yang, who was a cast member from last year.
He's good.
I thought they were going to make him a permanent player this year, instead of making him wait another year, because he instantly was getting stuff. And I want Saturday Night Live is currently definitely people aren't as attached to Saturday Night Live as they were when I first got attached to Saturday Night Live in the mid '90s. When you would sneak down after bedtime to go watch it, or eventually be allowed to watch it. And I mean, I just think we used to get so many iconic people who are icons in the industry now, with like Adam Sandler, who we already talked about, Chris Rock, Will Ferrell, Amy Poehler, Maya Rudolph. I mean, there's so many names that we could just throughout the history of Saturday Night Live, and this current cast right now, we don't. I mean, even the last 10 years of cast members, there's just not as many names or post SNL projects that are hitting, that are making a celebrity out of these people. So I think a lot of people have been out on
I think even now those names that you just named aren't really that big. Like they never really, like obviously they're working, but they're not like huge other than like Will Ferrell.
I think they had times when they were huge. I mean,
sure, but what about now?
Mike Myers had a big run for a long time.
Yeah, where's he at now?
I mean,
everybody in Hollywood.
You got to look at someone like Mike Myers. Like he had a huge stint there where he was one of the biggest stars on the planet. You know, he was featuring in his own quote unquote trilogy, or two trilogies for that matter. One of them being animated with the Shrek films. So like, you can't just like write him off saying where's he at now. I think one of the things with Saturday Night Live is that there's so much competition now, where comedians who want to make it big don't necessarily have to go the route of SNL, because a lot of times, like, that was the way you became a major league comedian, was going through Saturday Night Live.
That was my dream.
Be a writer there. You went, and then you started writing, working on actual sketches. Your sketches put on there. You are acting in the sketches. Next thing you know, you're off the show and you're doing stand-up comedy out in New York, and you're getting a TV show or something. But
a lot of them are
that's not
writers.
necessarily how you go around it this way. So maybe they're not getting A talent right now. Maybe they're actually only getting B+ talent, because there's so many other ways that actors can make it big without going to Saturday Night Live.
Well, I think
they
have things holding them back, is what I'm saying. I think that they a lot of the new people that they tend to bring in lately are very much more stand-up comedians than they are actors, comic actors, and sketch comedian actors. So the talent on screen they bring in is a lot of stand-ups over the last couple of years. I think they have a writing room with 40 some writers. There are so many writers, they have too many cooks in the kitchen. So they're all fighting to get material out there. And I think it shows in the show that they're not always getting good new stuff. They aren't creating iconic characters anymore. They definitely rely a lot on the political atmosphere in order to push viral content out there. I think we saw that back when, Will Ferrell started doing George W. Bush, when Tina Fey locked into, what's her name from Alaska that I can't think of right now?
Sarah Palin.
Then you eventually had Jay Farrow doing Obama. Now you have, but then here's the other thing. Now we have this issue where they're not allowing cast members to play characters. They're bringing in outside talent. You have Alec Baldwin doing Trump. They just brought in Jim Carrey to do Joe Biden, rather than getting somebody. There are tons of white dudes in the cast. I'm sure one of them could pull it off. And Jim Carrey's impression of Biden wasn't all that great.
Yeah, no, it's not.
It really just showed that the makeup and the hair and makeup department at Saturday Night Live is awesome.
Someone was actually talking. So I'm going to struggle. I think it might have been someone at a local Philly radio talk show. They were talking about like just vehemently against bringing outside talent in to play political outsiders now. Like there's like, it's done, it's over. You had a string of some really good ones. Tina Fey, and granted, she wasn't necessarily even an outsider maybe per se, but you know, Tina Fey's portrayal of Sarah Palin was phenomenal.
Matt Damon doing the press conference for that Supreme Court justice was amazing.
When he's Brett Kavanaugh.
Yeah, Brett Kavanaugh.
So,
I drink beer. I like beer.
I love Alec Baldwin's Trump. He's amazing at it, but he is basically like a lifelong cast member because he's hosted so many times.
Over 12 times.
And I'm okay with them bringing in outside people if it's just like a one shot, like you just said, Matt Damon playing Brett Kavanaugh. Like, but if they're gonna consistently bring back Jim Carrey to do Biden, like then
Maya Rudolph for Kamala.
At least pick somebody who's like Maya Rudolph was a cast member. She's basically, that's fine with me, you know.
It's just like you're really holding back the cast by not allowing them to do a lot of these parts. And then my other issue with Saturday Night Live right now, I've noticed over the last couple years especially, is instead of having iconic characters that they're creating to do reoccurring skits, they're finding like ideas to make reoccurring skits. Like they've done the skit for the name change office.
Yeah.
Like,
but this last one was so funny though.
I'm not saying they're not funny. They're always kind of funny, but they've done it 4 times in the last like 5 years, I feel like.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. Like it's like they're losing their brand. They're going for these quick hitters. Let's bring in someone big. Let's get a ratings pop because let's get the viral factor. Because like I told you when you asked me if I watched the show at the beginning, I really only watch the show if something goes viral nowadays because you know, the show really, in my opinion, doesn't have an identity. It doesn't have something that I really want to watch. Like I went and watched Eddie Murphy's that entire episode because it was awesome.
Because you wanted to see Eddie Murphy back on Saturday Night Live.
I wanted to see I wanted to see him do his iconic characters. I wanted to see him, you know, I wanted to see him do Gumby.
Yeah, that's fair.
I am Gumby, damn it.
I just think that they have you're right. I don't think they have a good identity anymore. I think that a lot, and I like I said, I think that has to do with they have way too many writers. But this happened. They eventually, I don't remember what year it was, but when they were at
2000,
they were at one of their lowest points in ratings. They finally got the idea to go steal young writers from other content sources on the internet, like College Humor, YouTube sketch series, and stuff like that. And if you really look at all their writing staff, you probably know a lot of them from the content they produced in the early era of the internet.
So you don't sound very hopeful that this year is going to be good.
I mean, I thought last year, I mean, obviously COVID had a lot to do with it, but last year really ended on a sour note. Whereas I thought like the last couple years have been pretty strong.
Yeah.
You almost get like 1 or 2 solid sketches from every episode. And almost one of them would always go viral.
Let me jump in here real quick because we're running out of time. But I haven't missed the episode of Saturday Night Live in, I don't know, 6 to 8 years. It's been a long time. I love Saturday Night Live.
Love it.
I now mostly watch it because I want the political sketch. I want that cold open to be some sort of cathartic experience from the horrors that I experienced over the week, something to laugh about. I want the weekend update. That
now, is the strongest thing right now.
Colin Jost and Michael Che are my favorite weekend update hosts of all time right now.
That's
I
a
love them.
really strong point.
I love their dynamic, and I love their jokes. So, they're my favorites out of all of them. And and then I'm watching it I know some sketches are going to be hopefully great. Some are going to be, bombs, whatever. But 2018 was almost every episode was great. Like that never happens. 2019 was strong. Yeah. COVID really affected it, but I'm hopeful that this year is going to get good because the new girl I think something Feynman. She's gonna be good. Chloe Feynman's gonna be good, but there's another girl, Heidi Gartner. She's great.
Yeah, Heidi Gardner and Chloe Feynman are both really good.
Everything she's in is good. Nego, who not
Ego Wodum.
Is it Nego or Ego?
Ego.
Ego. I thought it was Nego.
It's Ego Wodum.
Ego Wodum is fantastic.
I liked. She's good, but I thought Shazia Tomato was awesome.
Well,
And
yeah,
I missed her.
that's just because you think she's beautiful.
That too, but she was so funny, and she came up through improv comedy in New York too. So, you know how the respect I have for improv comedy.
Yes, of course. Yeah, I was gonna go through the cast, but I'm running out of time here, so I'm hopeful.
I'm hopeful
it can get back to that 2018 good spot.
Good. I think they have issues, and I do think that there is a transition that's happening in place because, the rumor is that Keenan will eventually take Lauren's job.
I'm cool with that.
And I do think that transition is probably closer to starting than we think.
Did Keenan just go straight from Nickelodeon, children's comedy, to just straight up SNL?
He went straight, but all that got canceled. He immediately moved in Saturday Night Live.
Nuh-uh. He did Keenan and Kel.
Keenan and Kel was going on while all that was going on.
I don't think he moved immediately over. I think there was
I thought it was immediate.
I might be wrong. We'll have to look into that. But
he's the secret Ryan Seacrest of the comedy industry. He's just everywhere. You don't even know it.
He has the best camera play of anyone I've ever seen. That man can play a camera like no one else.
For sure.
It is insane to watch.
All right, we're gonna have to cut this. So you guys got anything else to add?
Nope, we gotta go. Brad has to take another shit.
No, I'm good. One was good. I had Applebee's for dinner, so I had to get out.
So that's what
better
out than in, I always say.
Cringe.
That's another Mike Myers reference.
So that's some of the stuff that we thought's worth sinking your time into this week. Make sure to check us out on social media, Instagram. What else are we on? Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. You can watch us
social
live.
Dilemmas.
Yeah, God. Yeah, what have I done? Watch us live on Facebook. Watch us live on YouTube. Or you can download us on your favorite podcasting app. Make sure to leave us a like and a review. Let us know what you want us to review. Let us know how.
Bye.
And we'll see you next week.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that to you.
Make my life both of you, make everything so hard.
That's what she said.
That's what makes it good.
Oh, thank you. The second you said welcome, my stomach went. I was like, oh fuck. So just having to take a shit.
Please put that at the end of the podcast.
Yep.
Please.
Yeah.